Life as a digital nomad can be quite complicated at times. Luckily, there are so many apps, tools, gadgets, and other things available to make your travels much smoother and much more enjoyable. There are a lot of options out there, so this video is going to be a list of every category of things you should consider, my favorite solutions for each, and some good alternatives. There's a lot of things I want to go through in this video, so it's going to be quite fast-paced, so pay attention. The first category of things you're going to need to look into is everything internet related. So this is really important, not just to find yourself in the street, find that cool restaurant and use the maps, but actually to get work done. My best recommendation here is to have an eSIM. This is an electronical SIM that you can add on your phone. Most phones will support this, and so you can have your normal SIM and the eSIM activated at the same time, and you simply use the eSIM to go online. The best services I found and I've used the most are Holofly and Airalo. Airalo, whatever. They've got a bunch of plans you can pay for, so you buy a bunch of gigabytes, however much you need for each destination, and they're available for 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, 80 days, 90 days, whatever you need. Related to this are VPNs. So you've watched all those ads, you probably know the pitch already, but it really makes sense, especially if you're traveling a lot, not only to secure your connection, but actually to be able to change your location around the world. This can be important to watch your favorite shows at night, or to actually get some work done and access websites that might not be available where you are. I've had to use VPNs quite a lot when working from South Korea, for example. Many of the websites and services I need on a daily basis were simply not available in Korea. I personally use NordVPN, probably because of all the ads, but they're kind of like all the same. So I think just find one that works for you and you should be good. Do not forget to take a portable battery. You're going to be out and about a lot. You're probably going to have to take calls at weird hours to charge your computer in weird spaces. Have a portable battery. That's just common sense to me. And the same goes for an international travel adapter. Let me just show you mine. Well, I wanted to show you mine and it turned off my light, but so yeah, here it is. It's this little cube right here, and so you can plug pretty much everything you need. I've got an USB-C on the side as well, and then you can pull out the plugs you actually need. So right now I'm using this one for Japan. I'll definitely drop all the links to these things in the description, so you can buy the same as me or a bunch of other ones. They kind of all do the same things. I strongly suggest you get some. These things are like super cheap things that you can get for $5, $10, $15. They're gonna save your life. One thing that is really important for me in the work category is to have a second monitor. For that, I've got an iPad Pro on a little stand right here. I don't know if you can see it, which I simply connect to my computer and use as a second screen. So my work setup is actually pretty simple. I've got a MacBook here on a stand, look at my stickers by the way, with keyboard, mouse, and iPad Pro on the side on the little stand. It looks kind of like I'm Apple everything here, but I do not recommend these two, to be honest. Like, nothing wrong with them. They're just way too expensive for what it is. You will definitely need some storage, and so I would personally recommend buying some cloud storage. I personally use iCloud and Google Drive. My stuff is between the two. Some people really like physical hard drives. I hate them. That's up to you, but have some extra storage. If it's in the cloud, it's much easier when you're traveling. It's just less stuff you have to worry about. Still on the work topic, you need noise canceling headphones. So I personally just have like a AirPods Pro thing with a nice little case my girlfriend made for me. These works very nice. It's not really about which one you use. It's just about the noise canceling. You just need to be able to focus. You're going to be working in some weird spaces sometimes, and so focus is really important. And I would definitely recommend working from co-working spaces. I made another video on this topic, but I absolutely hate and would not recommend working from cafes. Cafes are great for like a quick work session, but in my case, I have a bunch of calls I need to do with people at any random hours, and so I need an actual space where I can count on having good internet. I know I'm going to have that. I can have access to coffee because I'm an addict, and also simply be able to sit down and have a comfortable working space where I can spend multiple hours and actually get stuff done. But depending on where I am at the moment, there's a bunch of different solutions. WeWork is a great solution because they have offices all over the world pretty much. Otherwise, in Europe, I really like Croissant. It's an app that gives you access to a lot of co-working spaces in many different cities. And you also have other apps like Liquid Space and Coworker. There's a lot. Just do a little bit of research and find which one you like best. Otherwise, links in the description as usual. Quick point on collaboration tools. You probably already use this a lot, but make sure to have the software side of things ready to go as well, so that you can collaborate seamlessly with your coworkers. If you have any, you don't want to start being late on work once you start traveling. So for me, ClickUp, Slack, Google Workspace, and I also use Arc and SigmaOS as browsers. I made a video on that, by the way, check it out. I use all of these on a daily basis to help me get work done and move forward much faster. I also like to automate as much as I can, especially to get rid of all those small repetitive tasks. So I use Zapier a lot to automate almost everything I do. Before you start packing, a quick thing you can buy for super cheap is compression bags. These are exactly what it says, bags that are going to compress your stuff to make it smaller. This is one right here. It's not compressing anything right now, but you can see it. This is another pink one right here. I've also got this laundry pouch, let's say, which is pretty cool for travel. I actually have a bunch of cables on here. Before you start traveling, there's 3 other categories. They're quite boring, but really important. So accommodation, banking, and insurance. Let's go through them real quick. Accommodation, obviously you have like the standard solutions like booking.com, Airbnbs, and finding random hotels. You've also got a bunch of dedicated apps for digital nomads and people traveling a lot. I honestly haven't used them so much. Other solutions like NomadRest. There's also so many other co-living spaces and like managed apartments that you can find. Insurance is another topic that is really boring, but also really important that you should take care of before you start traveling. So I personally use GlobeLink. I've also heard a lot of good things about other solutions like WordNomad, SafetyWings, and Travelex. For banking, there's so many different solutions depending on where you're going and where you're coming from. I personally use Revolut for everything. It just works really well. I've got cheap transfer fees like ATM fees and all these different things, so it's just great. I also know that Wise or TransferWise is pretty good, and there's so many more, especially kind of like these digital like neobanks. So just do a little bit of research and find one ideally that is very well suited for travel, depending if you're going to do like quick travel, bunch of countries in slow periods of time, or slow travel. Now that you've started traveling, there's a couple different apps that you can use and a couple different tools to make your life so much easier. The first one is obviously language translation. So I use Google and Google Translate. I know there's a bunch of other solutions out there, but I actually made a video on some of the best widgets you can use. Google Translate was part of that because they have an amazing widget on iPhone that you can put on your lock screen, or simply one click and you open the camera and you can translate anything. You can translate from text, from voice, from image, pretty much everything you need. Google Translate is a must-have in pretty much every situation, and the same goes for maps. I also use Google Maps in most places where it's available. I was surprised in South Korea, for example, it was not working at all. A lot of people recommend having offline maps and downloading them before you go. I don't really like that so much, to be honest. That is why I recommended having the eSIM in advance, so that you always have actual internet connection, so that you can find all the trains, public transport, and everything else that you might need. Quick tip on maps, start pinning everything. You can do this in advance, but you can also do it as you're traveling. When you find a nice restaurant, a nice shop, or whatever, just pin it on your map. The more you travel, the more you're gonna have like a complete map of your favorite things. These are great to have to recommend to other people, or for next time you come in town, you now have a whole list of all your favorite restaurants to go to. To start finding activities, I would recommend actually just spend time on TikTok. You're gonna find quite a lot of different things to do. You can go on Airbnb experiences, TripAdvisors, and honestly just do a little bit of Googling. You're gonna find hundreds of websites and ads with a bunch of activities you can book right away. And in order to find people to meet with, I would definitely recommend, in most places, Facebook groups and Meetup. Those are probably the best way to actually meet other people and activities. Otherwise, dating apps. You can also check out a bunch of like travel specific apps like NomadList, and I know there's a bunch of others. Some people love them, some people hate them. I've never really used them that much, but I know they're there, they're available, and they have almost everything you might need. At least that's a promise. All right, that's pretty much it for me. I wanted to go through this really fast, so sorry again for the fast pace of this. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions, or if you want any recommendations if you're traveling or anything like that. Also, please like, subscribe. It helps me a lot, and it also makes sure that you don't miss any future videos. Cool. Thanks a lot, and talk soon.